In a far corner of the Milky Way galaxy, beyond the bright stars and rich planets, floated a small ship. It was old, rusty, and patched together with different parts. Most people would think it was a junk or something that belonged in a scrapyard. But for Elias Thorne, this ship was home. Elias was once a respected captain in the Earth fleet, known for his bravery in battles during the Frontier Wars. But that was 10 years ago. Since then, Earth had withdrawn from most galactic affairs. People called Earth a backwater planet, and humans were often ignored by more advanced alien species. Some races even believed humans were too emotional, too unpredictable, too weak to be taken seriously. Elias didn't care anymore. He spent his days salvaging old wrecks, trading parts, and staying away from trouble. He had scars on his face, a limp in his left leg, and a sharp look in his eyes that warned people not to mess with him. One day, as he floated near the edge of a dying star system, his ship picked up a strange distress signal. Unregistered Evanon beacon detected. His ship's AI said in its calm voice. Elias raised an eyebrow. Ivana, that's royal space. What are they doing out here? He paused for a moment. He had learned long ago that helping others often led to trouble, but something about the signal felt urgent and real. Set course, he said, sighing. 15 minutes later, he arrived at the source. A sleek silver royal shuttle was spinning out of control. Its engines were damaged, and 3 pirate ships circled it like vultures. The pirates were from the Grash Syndicate, a group known for stealing high-value tech and selling it to the black markets. They're going to board her, Elias muttered. He didn't know who was on that shuttle, but he knew one thing. He hated pirates. He powered up his weapons, locked onto the largest pirate ship, and fired without warning. His lasers cut through the unshielded engine, causing it to explode. The other 2 pirates turned toward him in surprise. What idiot attacks a grass ship solo? One of them said. Over open comes. This idiot, Elias replied. The fight was quick and violent. Elias used every trick he knew, cutting through one ship's stabilizer, luring the other into a radiation belt. Within minutes, the pirates were either fleeing or destroyed. He then carefully approached the damaged Evanon. Shuttle, royal shuttle, he said. Over comes. This is independent salvager Elias Thorne. You're safe now. Do you need help? There was a moment of silence. Then a soft voice answered. Permission to come aboard? Elias blinked. Wait, you want to come here? Yes, alone. Elias shrugged. All right, docking bay's open. What? When the shuttle connected and the door opened, Elias expected to see a diplomat, or maybe a pilot. Instead, a tall woman stepped out, dressed in a flowing white cloak with silver threads. Her skin was pale gold, her eyes a bright violet, and a soft crown floated just above her head. A sign of royal bloodline technology. Elias froze. He recognized her. Queen Thralith of Ivana, the most beautiful and powerful monarch in the galaxy. A ruler of billions, a leader whose voice could move armies. And she was standing on his dirty, greasy salvager ship. ... You're the queen, said, stunned double quotes. Yes, she said with a calm nod. Elias scratched his beard. Shouldn't you be surrounded by guards or something? I was on a secret diplomatic mission, she said, clearly not so secret. She looked around the ship. It was cramped with exposed wires and a broken coffee machine in the corner. She didn't seem bothered. Thank you for saving me, she said. Elias shrugged. Didn't do it for thanks. I just hate pirates. She smiled faintly. Still, I owe you my life. There was a strange moment between them. She looked at him not just as a savior, but as if she saw something in him. Elias felt uncomfortable. Under her gaze, look, I'll take you to the nearest starport. I'm not good at royal stuff. No need, she said. I've already sent for my people. Within the hour, a massive royal ship arrived. It was an Avanon dreadnought, gleaming and silent like a predator. Sorella stepped off Elias's ship, but just before leaving, she turned back. Your name again? She asked. Elias Thorne? She smiled softly. I won't forget it. 3 days later, across every star network, every broadcast station, and every screen in the galaxy, the announcement came. It was live from the throne. room of Ivana. Queen Sorelith stood tall and radiant. Behind her were the noble houses, alien ambassadors, and powerful warlords, all waiting for her to announce her chosen mate during the galactic convergence. Each expected to hear the name of a powerful noble, a warrior prince, or a genetically perfect partner. Instead, she raised her hand and said in a clear voice, "I have made my decision. My mate shall be Elias Thorne, a human salvager from the Sol system." The room fell silent, then gasps, then shouts. Across the galaxy, people were shocked. Who was this human? A salvager? A nobody from a forgotten world? The noble houses were outraged. Alien empires demanded answers. Some said it was a joke, others a trick. But Sorelith's face remained calm. "I choose him," she said again. "He is mine." On his ship, Elias stared at the screen. He dropped his coffee mug. "You've got to be kidding me." The moment Queen Sorelith announced Elias Thorne as her mate, chaos spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On distant planets, alien leaders slammed their fists on tables. In the grand halls of star empires, whispers turned into angry debates. How could the Queen choose a human, a mere salvager? They asked. Most of the galaxy saw humans as weak, disorganized, and unpredictable. They were barely advanced compared to the elegant Evanons or the powerful Kithar warriors. And Elias Thorne? He was nothing more than a forgotten man alone, scarred, and living on the edge of space. But Sorelith did not care about their opinions. Back in the golden halls of Ivana's capital, she stood firm, radiant, and calm. "I will not change my mind," she said, voice strong. The nobles looked at her, shocked and angry. One highborn, a tall, blue-skinned warrior named Lord Varkas, stepped forward. "Your Majesty, this decision breaks centuries of tradition. Elias Thorne is not noble. He lacks the heritage, the power, the bloodline to sit beside you." Sorelith did not flinch. "The tradition must change," she said. "The galaxy is evolving. Strength is not only born from blood, but from courage, loyalty, and the will to protect." A murmur of agreement and anger mixed through the crowd. Far from the throne room, Elias sat alone in his small quarters on Ivana's royal ship. His heart hammered. "I never asked for this," he said to himself, staring at the news feeds, showing thousands of messages, some hateful, some curious, some hopeful. His life was simple. He fixed ships, he fought pirates, and he kept to himself. Now, the most powerful queen in the galaxy had chosen him as her mate. It's the most important and dangerous position a man could have. The pressure crushed him. Suddenly, his door slid open. It was Captain A, a royal guard assigned to protect Elias. "Time to prepare," she said, voice sharp but kind. "The Queen expects you to be at the convergence ceremony." Elias frowned. "I don't belong in a palace." "You belong to the Queen now," I replied, "and the galaxy is watching." At the galactic convergence, nobles from hundreds of worlds gathered in a massive, glittering arena. The air buzzed with anticipation. This event was not just a ceremony. It was a show of power, politics, and ancient customs. The Queen's mate was expected to represent the future of the galaxy's ruling class. Elias felt out of place. His simple clothes and rough hands stood out against the fine robes and shining armor of the nobles. Whispers followed him like shadows. "He's a human," one noble whispered. "A savage. He doesn't look like a warrior," another sneered. Elias tried to ignore them, but his nerves tightened like a steel band. Then the Queen appeared. Sorelith floated down the stairs, her cloak shining like stars, her eyes calm and bright. The crowd fell silent. She stepped to Ilias's side. "Come forward, Elias," she said softly. He swallowed hard and walked to the center of the arena. Suddenly, a group of noble challengers stepped forward. These were men and women who had expected to be chosen as the Queen's mate. Their leader was Prince Varric, a genetically enhanced warrior with glowing eyes and armor covered in honor badges. "I challenge your choice," Queen Sorelith Varric said loudly. "This man is unworthy. If you insist on making him your mate, let him prove himself." The crowd erupted. Sorelith smiled calmly. "Very well. Elias will compete in the trials of strength, wisdom, and loyalty. The trials were ancient challenges designed to test a mate's worthiness. Many had failed, even nobles with perfect bloodlines. Elias's heart sank. The first trial was strength. Elias stood in a vast arena against Varrock, who flexed his enhanced muscles and cracked his knuckles. The crowd expected an easy victory for the prince, but Elias had fought in real battles. He knew how to use his mind, his speed, and his determination. The fight was brutal. Varrock was strong, but Elias was fast and smart. He dodged, twisted, and struck at the right moments. In the end, Elias knocked Varrock down with a surprise move. The crowd gasped. The nobles murmured, "This human is different." The second trial was wisdom. Elias sat before a panel of the galaxy's greatest scholars and strategists. They gave him puzzles and questions about politics, history, and science. Many expected him to fail. After all, he was a simple salvager. But Elias had learned from old Earth books, from experience, and from listening to others. He answered every question thoughtfully and clearly. Even the scholars nodded in respect. The final trial was loyalty. Elias was taken to the Crystal Labyrinth, a maze full of traps and illusions. The test was to reach the center and retrieve the Queen's family emblem without giving up or turning away. He faced visions of fear, doubt, and his own past mistakes. At one point, he almost quit, but then he remembered Soralith's calm face and the trust she placed in him. With grit and heart, Elias reached the center and took the emblem. The maze doors opened. The crowd was silent. Sorella stepped forward. "You have proven yourself," she said, eyes shining. "Elias Thorne, from this day, you are my mate. Not because of your blood, not because of your title, but because of your spirit." The nobles looked stunned. Some bowed their heads in respect. Others clenched fists in anger. Days passed. The galaxy began to change. Some species sent diplomats to Earth, curious about the humans who had a queen's mate. Others secretly plotted against Elias and Soralith. But Elias felt different. For the first time in years, he felt hope. The queen had chosen him, and now he was ready to fight, not just for her, but for all humanity. The galaxy had many secrets. Some were hidden in ancient ruins, some were buried in dusty star charts. But the darkest secret now threatened Queen Soralith and Elias Thorne. Far beyond the bright courts and noble halls, shadow moved quietly. The Kalos Directive was a secret group inside the Galactic Accord. They believed only the strongest, the most perfect races should rule. They wanted to control the galaxy by removing anyone they thought weak or impure. And humans, especially Elias Thorne, were at the top of their list. For years, the Kalos Directive had tested strange weapons and mind-controlled devices. They wanted to erase humans from history, but when Soralith chose Elias, everything changed. Elias had always felt something strange inside him. His DNA was different from other humans. Some old war memories told him he was special in ways he didn't understand. The Kalos scientists had discovered his genetic code carried rare anomalies, parts of ancient Terran DNA that resisted psychic attacks in control. The queen had known this all along. One evening, in the royal palace, Soralith called Elias to her private chamber. "We are not just fighting politics anymore," she said, her violet eyes serious. "There is a secret war," she continued. "The Kalos Directive wants to destroy us both." Elias frowned. "Why me? I'm just a man." "No," she said. "You carry the key to stop them. Your blood is unique. It can resist the Kalos mind control tech." Elias was shocked. "I'm supposed to be special. I'm just a salvager." Soralith smiled softly. "You're more than you know, and the galaxy needs you." As days passed, Elias began training with the Queen's secret guards. He learned to fight with new weapons, use alien technology, and understand the ancient history of the galaxy. He was not alone. Other humans from Earth's forgotten fleets came forwards, silent warriors ready to protect their own. Together, they formed a small, powerful group inside the palace walls. But the Kalos directive was patient. One night, alarms blared in the palace. A group of Kalos agents had broken in. Elias and the guards fought fiercely. The agents used strange weapons that tried to control minds and break wills. But Elias's unique DNA blocked the attacks. He moved faster, stronger, and clearer than anyone expected. He fought side by side with Sorelith, protecting her with every breath. The battle was short but deadly. The Kalos agents were forced to retreat. But the threat was clear. After the attack, the Queen held a secret meeting with her closest allies. "The Kalos directive will not stop," she said. "We must strike first," Elias spoke up. "If we want to win, we need to find their base and destroy it." Maps of hidden star systems and secret routes were spread across the table. The Kalos base was hidden in a dark nebula place where no ship could detect it easily. Elias volunteered to lead the mission. Before the mission, Elias went to the palace garden. Sorelith joined him. "Are you ready?" she asked softly. "I don't know," Elias admitted. "But I want to protect you and everyone." She took his hand. "You are more than a salvager. You are my mate. Together, we will save the galaxy." The team flew their ships into the nebula. The dark clouds blocked sensors and made navigation hard. Suddenly, they were attacked by Kalos drones, small, fast machines armed with deadly lasers. Elias and his team fought through waves of drones, one by one. The drones fell, but the cost was high. Finally, they reached the hidden Besa Giant fortress built inside an asteroid. Inside, strange machines hummed in cold metal walls, stretched for miles. Elias led the assault. They fought through Kalos soldiers, wearing armor that could resist bullets and energy weapons. But Elias's team had something the Kalos didn't: heart and courage. At the heart of the base, Elias found the main control room. Inside, a machine sent out psychic waves to control minds across the galaxy. He knew he had to destroy it, but the machine was protected by a powerful force. Field Elias searched for a way to shut it down. He found a console with symbols similar to Old Earth languages. Using his knowledge, he hacked the system. The force field dropped suddenly. A Kalos commander appeared, an enormous being with glowing eyes and cruel smile. "You think a human can stop us?" the commander hissed. Elias didn't answer. He charged forward. The fight was brutal. The commander was strong and fast. But Elias used his training and quick thinking. He dodged a deadly blast and knocked the commander into the machine. The machine overloaded and exploded. The base shook. Elias and his team rushed to escape. They barely made it out before the fortress collapsed in a massive explosion. Back at the palace, the Queen and her people celebrated. The Kalos directive's plans were destroyed. But Elias knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was watching. Humans had shown they were not weak. They had fire, will, and power, and Elias Thorne was ready to lead. The galaxy was still buzzing with news of Elias Thorne's victory over the Kalos directive. Many cheered, but others grew more dangerous. The old noble houses saw the human mate as a threat to their power and began to plot a rebellion. Queen Sorelith knew this was a delicate moment. The throne was not just a symbol, it was a battlefield of politics, loyalty, and power. In the golden throne room of Ivana's palace, Sorelith met with her council. The nobles were tense. Some coldly eyed Elias. One elder lady, Miri of the Harkin house, spoke sharply. "Your Majesty, your choice has divided us." Many nobles refused to accept a human as your mate. They questioned his loyalty and strength. Sorelith's violet eyes flashed. "He has proven his loyalty and strength. This kingdom is not just for nobles, it is for all beings who fight for justice." A murmur went through the room. Outside, rumors of rebellion spread. The Harkin house was quietly gathering armies. They claimed the Queen was weak to trust a human. Elias knew the danger. His time as a simple salvager was over. He was now a leader, a symbol, and a target. One night, Elias walked alone through the palace gardens, thinking deeply. Suddenly, He heard footsteps. It was Captain A, his royal guard. "The Harkin house is planning an attack," she whispered. "They want to capture the queen and take the throne." Ilias's heart pounded. "We need to warn the queen," he said. Sorelith was already prepared. She gathered her loyal warriors, including Elias's human fighters. "We will not let fear control us," she said. "If they want war, we will give them a fight they will never forget." The next day, the rebel armies moved toward the capital. Thousands of soldiers in shining armor, with heavy weapons and war machines. The city's walls were fortified. The queen's forces waited. Elias stood on the wall, looking out. "I may not be a noble, but I will fight for this kingdom." The battle began with a loud roar. Explosions shook the ground. Lasers cut through the sky. Elias led a group of elite fighters in a daring mission to stop the rebel commanders. They moved quickly, using stealth and surprise. Ilias's leadership and courage inspired his team. Meanwhile, Sorelith directed the defense from the palace tower. She used her command powers and knowledge of the battlefield to guide her troops. Together, the queen and Elias fought like a perfect team. As the battle raged, a traitor in the palace tried to kill Sorelith. Elias sensed danger and rushed to her side just in time. They fought off the assassin, but it showed that enemies were close even within their walls. The fighting was fierce and long, but in the end, the rebels were pushed back. The Harkin house leaders were captured or fled. The queen's forces had won. After the battle, Elias stood next to Sorelith in the throne room. She looked at him with pride. "You have earned your place," she said softly. Elias smiled. "I fight not for a throne, but for a future where all can live in peace." The galaxy watched the most. Beautiful queen and her human mate had survived the greatest test. But the road ahead was still full of challenges. Together, they would face the future, stronger and united. The battle was over, but the galaxy was far from peaceful. After defeating the rebels, Queen Sorelith and Elias Thorn knew they had won more than a fight. They had won a chance to change the galaxy forever. But change was never easy. The days after the battle were busy with rebuilding and healing. The city showed signs of damage: broken walls, burnt buildings, silent streets where people once lived in peace. The queen walked through the city with Elias by her side. The people looked at them with a mix of hope and doubt. Some whispered, "A human, our future." Sorella stopped and spoke to a group of children playing near the rubble. "You are the future," she said, "and your strength will be what builds a better galaxy." Elias smiled as he watched her. The queen was not just beautiful, she was wise and kind. Meanwhile, the galaxy's leaders sent envoys to Ivana. Many came with gifts, others with demands. Some hoped to see the queen's new mate fail. Others believed Elias might bring new hope for peace. The political game was more complicated than any battle. One day, a new threat appeared. A massive ship, unlike any seen before, entered Ivana's orbit. It was from the Zereth Collective, a mysterious and powerful alien race known for their strict rule and advanced technology. Their leader, Supreme Commander Vexer, sent a message to the Queen: "Your union weakens the galaxy. Submit or face destruction." "What?" Sorelith and Elias stood together in the palace war room. "This is a test," Sorella said. "We cannot back down." Elias felt the weight of responsibility heavier than ever. "I am ready to fight." They called a council of all allies, including humans from Earth, alien warriors. And diplomats' plans were made for defense but also for a bold surprise. Elias led a team of skilled pilots on a secret mission to find the Zerath ship's weak point, flying through asteroid fields and avoiding enemy patrols. Elias's squadron showed courage and skill. After days of searching, Elias found a hidden power core that controlled the Zerath ship's shields. Back in the war room, Elias explained. "The plan? We hit the core, the shields drop, and then our forces can attack." Sorelith nodded. "It is risky, but necessary." The day of the battle arrived. The sky filled with ships, weapons ready, engines roaring. Elias flew at the head of the attack squadron. The Zareth ship fired powerful lasers. But the Queen's forces held strong. Elias and his team made their way through enemy fighters and defenses. At the crucial moment, Elias launched a daring strike on the power core. The ship shuddered, shields failed, and the Queen's fleet attacked. With full force, after hours of battle, the Zareth ship was defeated. The galaxy breathed a sigh of relief. The Queen and Elias had proven their strength. Once again, not just as rulers, but as protectors, peace talks began with the Zareth Collective. Elias stood beside Sarelith, representing the humans and the new hope for unity. Leaders from many worlds watched carefully for the first time. They saw a future where different species could work together. Months passed. The Queen and Elias worked to rebuild alliances, improve trade, and share knowledge between worlds. Elias often visited Earth, reconnecting with his past, bringing stories of hope and courage. One evening in the palace garden, Sarelith and Elias looked at the stars. "Our journey has been hard," Sarelith said softly, "but together we can create a new dawn." Elias smiled, holding her hand. "I am proud to be your mate, proud to stand with you as we build the future." The galaxy was watching, a galaxy where beauty was more than appearance, strength was more than power. Love could unite even the most different worlds. The story of the most beautiful queen and her human mate was no longer a shock. It was a legend of hope, courage, and a new dawn for all.